left. You're right. Your brother was home when you left. You're right. The dog was home when you left. You're right. The cat was home when you left. You're right. The fish was home when you left. You're right. Your mommy, your daddy, your brother, your sister, the dog, the cat, the fish was home when you left. You're right. And that's the reason you left. You're right. Was home when you left.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Tony Commander J.R. Galpohkpa Chesson talk show. Today is January the 13th, 13 days into the new year. And we still have confusion. We still have violence. We have threats of chaos in our nation, United States of America, in Liberia. There is trouble in both of my countries as we rise on this 13th day of the new year. Let me put up my lesson. My first topic, U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell must go with President Donald Trump now. Number two, Liberian people must change. And number three, the time of my American and Liberian people is now. Let's get into my lesson. U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell must go. He must go with President Donald Trump because American people are afraid of this man. This man is too powerful for the American people. This man is a racist, an enabler of a racist, corrupt, race supremacist, mentally ill President Donald Trump. 4 years we have watched Mitch McConnell follow Donald Trump, done his error bidding, denied American people our rights and dignity. Just being a racist or all races. And there are many old races in American society throughout the length and breadth of the United States of America. They are in our government offices. They act like they love people, but they are traitors to minorities and black people. We got them in every state, in big positions, in offices, and they use subtle means to destroy us. They are the people in government offices that dismiss or punish black people to disdain and destroy their clean records. And black people have no consciousness of their evil tricks, because if a man in a high government position disparages an educated black man and disdain his reputation and punish him for crimes he didn't commit, and because he's got to survive in this nation, or he doesn't have money to get lawyers to fight for him in court, he got to accept the punishment. disdain, and destroy his clean record. Because when you get punished by your government officials and you're not guilty, and every evidence prove that you're not guilty, but yet the racists join their boss and want to punish you and destroy your record. It hurts. Let me tell you, for African people like us, it doesn't hurt us here. It follow us in Africa. Because it destroy your character. The same thing with Fanati now. The deputy speaker of the Liberian legislature. Many of our officials in Liberia have criminal records in America because of racism. Because they had desires to rise up in the society and they didn't know that in America there is a ceiling to how far black people can excel in this country. When you try to excel above that ceiling, they disparage, disdain, and criminalize your record. And many of us have to submit to that kind of thing because we have nobody here to fight for us. Our own black people ask us so much questions because they don't know their own society. They have lived in deception and lies and treachery for so long. They don't know racism when they see it. Even the lawyers, black lawyers, don't even know racism when they see it. Why? Because some of them are just pure greedy. They are greedy, and they will sell you out to the system for money. And our black people, Liberian people, you better pay attention to what I'm teaching you. Because if you come here thinking that this society is free, and when you're educated, you can rise like we did, what we're taught in Liberia, you are dreaming. You are dreaming. If you are a man of integrity, you leave the society and go home. Because our own black people don't understand their own society they're living in. Our people coming here don't understand the society you come into. You got to learn. And I can't lie to you and say it's all hunky-dory. No. No. I'm always fighting for my own survival in this country. As educated as I am, as I've been here for 30 years, I got to fight every day because when they see me, they don't see a man who has been in the system. They don't see an educated black man. They don't see a civilized black man. No, they see a black man. You see? So I'm judged just by the color of my skin. And in every instance in American society, you got to prove. You got to prove yourself. When the people see you, they'll be scared of you until you talk and it's something and they realize that you're intelligent or you sound intelligent. Then they will come up to you and talk with you. But other than that, they don't hear you talking. They don't see you behaving. You're a threat to them. You're a threat to them. And you can't blame the people too. Some of our own black people in America are a threat to us. They are a threat to us. But this class is for American people. My Liberian people have not grown mature, wise, nor educated to know that American history is our history. If we don't learn American history and we're depending on America for survival, we are screwed. We learn the good things about American history. We learn the beautiful things about American history. But there's a dark side to American history we need to learn too. But we don't want to learn it. We want to sit there and tell, oh, when you come to America, it's different. It's this and that. It's so good and nice. The people do this. Yes, the people do that. But it got some people who are just as wicked and bad as the people in Liberia. People like Mitch McConnell. People that all the people who supporting a racist like Donald Trump. because they have been taught and bred from time immemorial to their fathers and through books that their fathers have written, that their duty is to always enslave black people. Their duty is to always keep black people down and to keep black people ignorant, scared, and inferior. Because when we're scared, when we don't want to rise and know that there's a ceiling for us, fighting to rise above that ceiling is probably our own deaths. There's a problem. There's a problem for a man like me. And that's why right now I can't go live in Liberia, because my Liberian people will kill me. The things I want to bring to Liberian people, they will kill me. So I cannot interfere in Liberian government. I got to stay clear of the government, because the government itself so dumb, they can kill me. The people can kill me, the government can kill me. So I'm a threat to Liberia. My education, my thinking, my enlightenment, I'm a threat to Liberia and Liberian people, because our country is imbued with corruption. And this is where Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump is taking America, to a country that is imbued and blind with corruption, with stealing, with incompetence, with misappropriation, with lies, with deceitfulness. This is where we're going when our country loses control of its citizenry because of one lying, sick, mentally ill, incompetent man and his children. They have drawn our country into the era of darkness. America is slipping into darkness. Slipping into darkness. Slipping into darkness. Ooh, 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 ooh. Slipping into darkness. We have slipped into darkness. We have had our capital building ransacked by American citizens. We have had our nation brought to its knees by Americans. We got our nation today threatened of the near future because of Americans. We got our constitutional democratic institutions hostages to Americans who are tired with democracy. They are tired with the freedom they have. They are tired with the equal rights and opportunities that are still beholding us. They are tired of law, honesty, sincerity, dignity, pride. They are tired about that. So the underbelly of American society, led by the racists who inspire them and tell them, these people coming to take your land. These people are our enemies. These people, trust only the people that look like you coming from Europe and Asia. But anybody else who does not look like you is a threat to our country. So the underbelly, the weakness, the sickness, the disease-infested population of American society rises to follow the teachings of an evil president, of a race supremacist president, of a bigoted president, of a failed president, a visionless president, a mindless president, Donald John Trump. So it behooves all of us in America that we pack all of Donald Trump's people together in a package. Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Munchie, or whatever they are, all these people who praising Donald Trump and coming up say we forgave him. It's a mistake. He didn't mean it. And they know is un-American, is treacherous, and is harmful to our society. But yet, they want to support these evil people with a sick, mentally diseased President, Donald Trump. My American people, my wise and sound American people, do not regress to being like my Liberian people. Their vision is limited. Is limited. Their knowledge is limited. Their ideals are limited. They themselves are limited. We cannot regress from being my American people to being my Liberian people. No, I'm running away from my Liberian people, coming to America, looking for my American people and civilization and education and wealth and prosperity. I left people who are the underbelly of the world society. I left Liberia and Africa. I left blindness and darkness and cannot go back to it. Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, what the other one named? Hagley. All these people that are traitors to the American people because of racism, bigotry, hatred, and the disease of race supremacy must go with Donald Trump when he is impeached by the United States Congress today. Republicans, men of conscience, men of patriotism, rise up and join the Democrats. And let's rid ourselves of the death of our future. Aluta continua. My young people, my young American children, Liberians here who understand the significance of the American citizenship and how significant it is to the Liberian society. Rise up, stand up strong, and let us seek the freedom of America from regression to the state of our Liberian society today. The time of the American people is now. Liberian people must change. Liberian society must change. The prospects for Liberian future today is dim, dark, blemished, and must change. And how do we do this, Liberian people? How do we do this? Our country is uneducated. Our country is ignorant. Our country is blind. And most of all, our country, men are lost. How can we change Liberia when we don't know what change looks like? When we don't want to accept what change is? When we are so ignorant and blind that we think the same people who steal from us and lie to us and kill us are the best people to put our trust in for the future. of our country and our children. Liberian people must change. Look at your complaining about fanatic Kofa today. Look at how CPP own people betrayed them and voted for fanatic Kofa. Liberian people cannot be trusted. Liberian leaders are greedy and selfish and useless. They think only about themselves. Why do you think we keep recycling the same rogues and our people are gullible? The Liberian people are so blind and gullible and uneducated and dumb. They don't want to listen to nobody because everything in their mind, their whole security, their whole existence rests on their tribal lineages. That's why if it's not tribal, it can't be Liberia. And if it is tribal, it's not Liberian. And that's why it scares me to want to come back to my country. Because not only are the leaders dumb, the masses of the people don't want to accept education, don't want to accept enlightenment, don't want to accept change and progress. And the young children being educated in America from the different tribal groups are just like their parents. They are blind to the needs of Liberia. They are blind to the truth of what is patriotism. They are blind to the grave nepotism in our country. The same thing in America, I forgot to mention that. Nepotism has brought America to what it is today too. When you put your children in power, when you influence the entire government with your children and your family and your friends, it is bound to be destroyed. It is bound to collapse. It is bound to fail, like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government has failed. No government that is determined to raise the prospects, the lives, and the livelihood of its people will turn its government over to people who they know will fail, to people who they know cannot read and write, to people who they know are incompetent in leading even a softball team. Why would you give the Republic of Liberia to a dummy like George Weah, Samuel Twe, Jefferson Koji, Nathaniel McGill, and all these useless, dumb, uneducated, selfish Liberian men? And our country can't decide, can't change because it's the nativeness too much in our people. Women have no chance of rising in our society, and the women themselves cause themselves to be enslaved because some of them don't want their young children to change. They want them to follow the same tradition that they follow, that their fathers follow, and they know it's not good for in united Liberia. For Liberia to change, you cannot follow the ways of your tribal society. For Liberia to change, you cannot place your native society over the Liberian society. For Liberia to change, your minds, mentalities, behaviors, actions, thinking must change. It must be elevated from that tribal society living to a greater world living standard. And as long as we keep recycling rogues and criminals and killers, as long as we don't punish Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her children, just like the American people got to punish Donald Trump, and they can't let it go. But if we do everything for peace sake, for let it be, again, next time, our country will never grow. And that's why it is a threat for me to come and work in Liberia and among Liberian people. That's why I want people to donate to me $5 from every Liberian so I can build the institutions that will help Liberian people. And it will be free of government, free of interference. I want nothing to do with us corrupt, blind, gullible, deceived tribal nations of my people. I don't want to do nothing with your tribal nation. You can take your African culture, your everything, because the culture is an expression of the people. And the people are selfish. The people want to remain blind forever. The people are haters of education, hater of knowledge, hater of them own selves. So what can I bring to Liberia to help my people? What can we offer Liberian people that will change our mentalities? What are Liberian people ready to accept as true, as wisdom, as sound thinking, leadership for their country? Our children are blind. They are growing up just like George Weah, Samuel Tuer, and Jefferson Koji. They are the heroes of Liberian society. The underbelly of Liberian society, the slum lords, the ghetto dwellers, the dope users and killers of our people with impunity are the leaders of Liberian society for 40 years with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. What has Ellen Johnson Sirleaf done for Liberia and Liberian people? Look at how children running around Liberia like they own something, like they have done something for Liberia. And they still controlling these native, dumb, useless slum leaders. They're controlling them. Ellen controlling our society. Our president is an idiot. Liberia, Liberians must change. You know the people stealing. You know the people lying. You know they're killing our children. Yes, you are running behind them, calling them honorable. Honorable. That's a big thing among Liberian people, honorable. And none of you ain't honorable. All of you are useless and weak and sick. And don't know whether you're men or women. So there's a problem. And the problem stems from Robert Sirleaf. He flipped Liberian men for jobs. Now all the Liberian men working in government position in Liberia are suspect of being banged by Robert. So who are the real men in Liberian society? I don't see no men, and I am not coming to work with a deceitful bunch of people who are secretly female, calling themselves men. No, the deception got to stop. Just like it got to stop in America. You don't want to hear it, but the same thing we're living under. We are a deceived and lost people. Our people are deceivers of our own institutions. How many people voted for Fanatic Kofa, knowing that this man is a criminal in the United States? He was charged, in prison, and had to fight his way out. And we can't continue to have these kind of people in our society. Our leaders are already criminals. Then we're bringing foreign people charged with criminality into our society. That's a serious problem. Then we're putting our own leaders and truthful patriots in jail on bullshit. This is Liberian society today. Our people are deceitful. It has reached to this point that the selfishness, the greed, the uselessness, the underbelly of Liberian society leading Liberia today, we can't trust them. How many CPP people voted for Fanatic Court? Maya, Pa Gabriel, Lofa Julius, Prophet Key, Francis Dole, Henry Costa, Gali, Ashford Gali, and Volcano Shelter. Y'all answer this question for me, man, because I want to know this thing. How can we help our country? How can we change the minds of our people? How can we, when some of us don't have the material to do that? Yes, we talk about the news, what George we are doing. We are educating our people politically. But we have to open the minds of our people more and encourage them to the fact that our leaders have destroyed our society. Our society, young people are no different in their thinking, in their behaving, in their acting than George Weah, Nathaniel McGill, Moba, Koji, what other criminal name? Tue. All these people, they have not reached or even started on a path toward excellence. They are losers. They are useless criminals leading our nation. But our country not change. Our country cannot change because our young children want to be like George Weah and Nathaniel McGill and Samuel Tue and Jefferson Koji and all these useless people leading Liberia today. They are the heroes of Liberian society. So is there any hope of us changing the mentalities of Liberian people? Is there any hope of us gaining some kind of unified thinking and direction among our people for the betterment of our country, to stop the stealing, rampant corruption, killings with impunity? Can we change Liberian people's mentalities? Can Liberian people themselves change their mentalities? That's why I don't encourage people calling on my show. That's not a solution to our problems. We cannot keep talking about the same problem over and over and not finding solutions. The solution is among Liberian people. You got to check yourselves now before you wreck yourselves. Every Liberian citizen must stand in the mirror and look at yourself and ask, how have I contributed to the destruction of the Liberian society? That's the question we got to ask yourself. Don't ask yourself about your contributions. Don't ask yourself about your involvement in the struggle. No, the struggle is not with the Liberian people. The struggle is with you, your inner person, your mentality, your thinking of what Liberia means to you. And as I've seen it from my Liberian people, you do not have the abilities to even think. So how will you look the man in the mirror? All of y'all want to be like George Weah, Nathaniel McGill, Jefferson Koji, Samuel Tue, and the rest of the useless bunch of slum, selfish criminals. Those people are selfish. They have no love. They don't even know what it is to love. They are drunkards. Look at our president, George Weah. He's a total drunk. He's a total dope addict. He's retired. The man's job is football. After football, he retired. You take this retired, dumb, drunk, useless dope smoker and make him president of our country at the behest of the other criminal and old mafia woman, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is pure mafia. For a woman to kill Talbot, start a civil war, make the white people give her Nobel Peace Prize and president of Liberia, then give her free bank book to run amok in Liberia, for her to put her children over Liberian people and divide our money like that their money. Now she president of Liberia, rip our country off completely, then to hide her evil, wicked, disgusting ways. My Ellen Johnson Sirleaf gave Liberia to a dummy, to slum lords, to her warlords, Prince Johnson them. Why? Because Liberian society, she left us dumb. She left my people gullible. She left my people thinking only about themselves, their own personal enrichment, and not the enrichment of the minds, lives, and livelihood of Liberian people. She didn't do that. And this woman is a world-renowned woman, a Harvard graduate, an elite of American society, agent of the World Bank, the greatest economic institution in the world. And last and least, president of Liberia. All the money that woman ran all over the world fighting for Liberia and coming back home, what happened to it? You all say Ellen brought so much money, everything. You know, you're so gullible. Liberian educated people are so gullible. And that's why I can't even work with people in my family. I can't even work with people I went to school with. Because it looked like I excelled and you're just de-accelerated. In your mentality, in your thinking, it's all about greed, greedy, and myself. That's why I'm different from y'all. I've always been different. In my family, I've been the only one calling my family to unify, to solidify, both of my families. And they never did it because they cannot see past their own selfishness. They cannot see past their own greed. They cannot see past their own destructive mental thinking. So now, from childhood, I see the same thing repeated in my country over and over. I left Liberia on a door because of stealing. I had no reason to come to America. I didn't want no extra degree. But the way I look in my country and saw my people behaving, I said, no, I got to go away and find out if there's a different system than my system. Then I come to America. And after 30 years here, I've reached to the conclusion that every governmental system depends on the mentality, the ability, the responsibilities, and the acceptance thereof of the men and women who are the leaders of that country. If you don't know your duties and responsibilities, nor are you willing to accept them when you go wrong and accept responsibility for your actions and try to rectify them or make amends for them and apologize for them. Who are these people to lead us? They can't lead us. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has never apologized to Liberian women for betraying them. Look at Liberian women now. They are still the underbelly of Liberian male-dominated society. Liberian women ain't going nowhere. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf didn't do no good for you. If Ellen Johnson wanted to do good for Liberian women, she would attack the traditional societies and their leaders. Because if you're an educated person wanting to lead African society, you got to know that our people are highly religious. Look at Boko Haram in Nigeria. Nigeria cannot subdue Boko Haram. Why? Because they're going around with their Muslim religion and all that kind of thing. And some of the same government officials are part of it. And this is deception from Africa has come full front to America. It has come to America now because America is getting diverse. You don't have only one dominant white society that protected themselves against everybody else. No, now we have a diverse America where every community you're trying to protect itself and their rights and entitlements to pride and dignity as American citizens, to rights and justice as American citizens. That's why people like Mitch McConnell and all these people are being exposed now because they're scared to lose power and will do anything to keep it. And it can't work no more because America is too diverse, too intermixed to do that. So again and again, we suffer from the same things that our forefathers have suffered from. Liberian people haven't changed, and there's no way we can continue on the same trend of what we're doing, not holding our leaders accountable, talking about for peace sake all the time, having leaders plan against our government, incite insurrections. In Liberia, we've been doing this thing for long. We've been inciting, our leaders being inciting insurrection in Liberia against Liberian people and their own government for long. And we've been accepting it, promoting it, and encouraging it. Liberian people mentality must change. And it's hard for me to see all these dysfunctional things in our society and tell myself it's good for me to go back home. It's good for me to go work in government. It's good for me to put myself back in a corrupt society that I ran away from in my youth. Can I do it? No. Can Liberian people change? Look in the mirror. Check yourselves before you wreck yourselves. The time of my American and Liberian people or peoples is now. It is now. In my America, we've been living under racism, bigotry, deception, and lies for too long, for nearly 4 centuries now. I'm not saying this to encourage any kind of hatred against white people. I'm not saying this to reverse and bring hatred of white people by black people or bigotry by black people against white people. No, no, no. But for us to rectify our society, for us to hold people responsible, accountable, and culpable for their actions, we have to set our history and our society straight. Now that we know that there's a sick, racist, and race supremacist president in our midst now that has enablers who are racist, race supremacists, and enemies of American and America and American people. We have to weed these people out of our midst. We got to get these people out of our governments. We got to make sure that these evil and powerful people leave the American society, because it is not good for our democracy. It is not good for freedom and equality and justice. It's not good for the pursuits of happiness of all American people. These people have enriched themselves and their families and children over the minority communities of our society for too long. We want justice. We want education. We cannot continue on this state of being third world countries in America. Go to South Carolina, look at how the black people living. I went there, they're living like they're in Africa, and they don't even know it. They be talking about African people like we the gun jungle, and they're living in the jungle in America, in a white, rich, powerful society. And we accept those things as normal lives, but it's not. It's not. One group of our society has benefited over us for 4 centuries. Nobody is seeking revenge. Nobody is encouraging you to do anything negative against any American citizen. But the time of the American people is now. All American people, not only the race supremacists, not only the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, the skinheads, the underbellies of American society, not for those people alone, for all of us who are American citizens. We deserve to share in our nation's prosperity, progress, and advancement. And now that we know, and it has come to the forefront and fruition, that our country is controlled by racists, race supremacists, criminals, and enemies of America and American people. Let's weed these people out of our society. We all fear of militia groups. We are militia group too. You will let a handful of underbellies in American society hold us down because they got guns? We must rise up. David killed Goliath with rock, not the greatest swords or spears or arrows. And just how American people get subdued, the racists, the race supremacists who call themselves militia, who can subdue them, disarm them, and jail their masters for life. America is a nation of brave men and women, and we live in the land of the free. You cannot come in our home and try to intimidate us. Stop it, Donald Trump. Stop it, Mitch McConnell. Stop it, the underbellies and race supremacists of American society. The time of the American people is now. My Liberian people, we've been living under the steam of corruption, killing, deception, treachery, lies, petty stealing, time and time again. Why? Because our society is being kept uneducated, illiterate, dumb, and backwards. I know foreigners who do that for their own interests. But why? Why? Pray tell me why would Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, her children, and the enlightened people of our society today betray Liberia and Liberian people so bad? Why would this old wicked woman enrich herself so much and stay in the midst of us knowing that her deception, nepotism, and betrayal of her own party and citizen has brought us to this point where our children today cannot go to school. Our banks today have no money. Our society today is physically dying while we're living. All of this because of what Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did to us. And if you all want to give her a free pass, you all want her children to continue to control us, you want her warlords and evil bandits to continue recycling themselves and making our people suffer because they are criminals who can be bribed. If Vani Sherman can bribe the Liberian legislature to change our laws for foreign companies to come and own wealth and businesses that belong to the Liberian people, and you're still recycling these criminals, you're still thinking they're good for our society, you're still thinking that Rodney Chesson talking to you is evil and bad because he doesn't support your tribal institutions stealing, your tribal leaders using your tribal institutions and your tribes to hold Liberia hostage because the masses of you are deceived, are uneducated, and blind, and keeping you that way is in their own best interests. And you until you rise and understand that Tony Commander J. Galpohkpa Chesson is your brother, your leader, your divine blessed authority over our society. And what I'm telling you is the whole damn truth and nothing but the truth. We'll continue to have leaders who can travel all of Liberia. We'll continue to have leaders who will recircle their friends and buddies and families who have stolen from our country time and time again. And our people themselves are so gullible and blind, don't know who to put their trust in, but anybody. And we have diaspora Liberians who don't know nothing about our country, don't know nothing about leadership, don't know nothing about helping Liberian people, but see our poor country and their education as opportunities to enrich themselves and their families too. Who are these Liberian people? Who are these Liberian people at home and in the diaspora that are so blind and gullible and dumb? Who are my Liberian people today? I don't know them. That's why I got to take care of myself, because my ideals, my vision, my education, my leadership for my country is useless to my people because they are useless to themselves. Aluta! Continua. Young Chera, my lesson is done. I'm only here to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear or not. That's my duty, responsibility, and God-given mandate to teach my young children that our dumb, selfish, useless, greedy, unprofessional, disloving, distruthful, dishonest, untrustworthy. I would just use all the words. If we're correct or not, you're just correct when I go home. And bamboozle, nyamakoklo, people and leaders are the cause of our sufferings. And if you all want to follow them and fail to realize that the time of the Liberian people is now, the Tony Commander J. Galpohkpa Chesson can only lead you to the well, to the spring of living waters. You don't want to drink? I will leave you there. Take my drink and keep trucking. Aluta! Continue. Bye-bye.